All truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. It is difficult to find happiness within oneself, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. The majority of men are not capable of thinking, but only of believing, and are not accessible to reason, but only to authority. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he is alone that he is really free. A pessimist is an optimist in full possession of the facts. Man is the only animal who causes pain to others with no other object than wanting to do so. Genius and madness have something in common. Both live in a world that is different from that which exists for everyone else. Just remember, once you're over the hill, you begin to pick up speed. Compassion for animals is intimately associated with goodness of character, and it may be confidently asserted that he who is cruel to animals cannot be a good man. We seldom think of what we have, but always of what we lack. Therefore, rather than grateful, we are bitter. Nature shows that with the growth of intelligence comes increased capacity for pain, and it is only with the highest degree of intelligence that suffering reaches its supreme point. If anyone spends almost the whole day in reading, he gradually loses the capacity for thinking. This is the case with many learned persons. They have read themselves stupid. Pleasure is never as pleasant as we expected it to be, and pain is always more painful. The pain in the world always outweighs the pleasure. If you don't believe it, compare the respective feelings of two animals, one of which is eating the other. The person who writes for fools is always sure of a large audience. Thus, the task is not so much to see what no one yet has seen, but to think what nobody yet has thought about that which everybody sees. The two enemies of human happiness are pain and boredom. After your death, you will be what you were before your birth. The greatest of follies is to sacrifice health for any other kind of happiness. The universe is a dream dreamed by a single dreamer, where all the dream characters dream too. To feel envy is human. To savor Schadenfreude is devilish. What people commonly call fate is mostly their own stupidity. Wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become, and the same is true of fame. Happiness belongs to those who are sufficient unto themselves, for all external sources of happiness and pleasure are, by their very nature, highly uncertain, precarious, ephemeral, and subject to chance. Almost all of our sorrows spring out of our relations with other people. Mostly, it is loss which teaches us about the worth of things. When you look back on your life, it looks as though it were a plot, but when you are into it, it's a mess. Just one surprise after another. Then, later, you see it was perfect. There is no opinion, however absurd, which men will not readily embrace as soon as they can be brought to the conviction that it is generally adopted. The safest way of not being very miserable is not to expect to be very happy. If we suspect that a man is lying, we should pretend to believe him, for then he becomes bold and assured, lies more vigorously, and is unmasked. A high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial. Hatred is an affair of the heart, contempt that of the head. It is a wise thing to be polite. Consequently, it is a stupid thing to be rude. To make enemies by unnecessary and willful incivility is just as insane a proceeding as to set your house on fire. For politeness is like a counter, an avowedly false coin with which it is foolish to be stingy. There is something in us that is wiser than our head. The more unintelligent a man is, the less mysterious existence seems to him. A sense of humor is the only divine quality of man. A man of genius can hardly be sociable, for what dialogues could indeed be so intelligent and entertaining as his own monologues? We forfeit 3/4 of ourselves in order to be like other people. To overcome difficulties is to experience the full delight of existence. Reading is equivalent to thinking with someone else's head instead of with one's own. There is no more mistaken path to happiness than worldliness, revelry, high life. Life swings like a pendulum, backward and forward between pain and boredom. Man is never happy, but spends his whole life in striving after something which he thinks will make him so. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone. Great men are like eagles and build their nest on some lofty solitude.